If you're an out-of-state investor, an investor currently investing in, or an Aggie parent looking to invest in Bryan-College Station, you need to have the most up-to-date housing market data. And it would probably be super helpful if you knew how our local market stacked up against Texas as a whole. Well, that is exactly what we're going to provide on this week's episode of Investing in Bryan-College Station, because this week we're providing you your monthly housing market update, and as a special gift, we are going to compare Bryan-College Station to the rest of Texas so you can make a smart decision with your hard-earned money, especially if you're going to invest here in Aggie land. Hey guys, if you don't know who I am, my name is Greg Schwartz. I started off my professional career as a Marine Corps helicopter pilot, but today I'm a full-time investor and real estate agent here at the Schwartz Realty Group, where we help clients just like you buy and invest here in Bryan-College Station. But today is all about the numbers and the data, so let's jump into the local and state housing market data. How does Bryan-College Station compare to the rest of Texas? Well, the story is one of resilience and general softening in the market. What does all of that mean? Well, let's start off our discussion with the median price. In Bryan-College Station, our median price is right around $308,000. What's good news is that's a 1% appreciation year over year, November 25 versus 2024. So we're appreciating. Not so much for the rest of Texas. The median price for Texas as a whole is $330,000, and that's down roughly 1% year over year. So at least we're appreciating here in Bryan-College Station. Not so great news when it comes to active listings, specifically for my sellers. You see, we continue to see increasing active listings, which means there's a lot of houses for buyers to choose from. As a seller, you have a lot of competition when you list a house. Our active listings are now 1,345 here in Bryan-College Station. That's up 20% year over year. For Texas as a whole, we are now up 16% year over year. So relatively speaking, more active listings hitting the market in Bryan-College Station. Again, it's good news for buyers, not so much for sellers. Speaking of buying and selling, we're going to look at months of inventory, which is a measure of whether or not it's a buyer or seller's market, whether it's a soft buyer's market or hot seller's market. Basically, who has the upper hand, buyers or sellers. The higher number means the buyers have an upper hand. In Bryan-College Station, we're at 4.8 months of inventory. That's up by 0.6 months compared to November 2024. In Texas as a whole, much higher number, 5.2, and a larger increase, an increase by 0.7 year over year. So Bryan-College Station showing more resilience, still moving in that buyer's market direction, but not nearly as aggressively as the rest of Texas. Up next, we have our days on market, roughly the same between Bryan-College Station and the great state of Texas. 72 days on market compared to 71, total days 101 and 103. One thing to note though is that the days on market have decreased year over year in our local market, but in Texas as a whole, we have seen an increase. The next stat I like to point out is the original list price compared to the closed price. Now this ratio is going to tell you generally how much cheaper does a house finally sell for than what it was originally listed at. Again, how much is a seller willing to negotiate on their original list price? In Bryan-College Station, we're at 95.1, meaning that houses sell about 5% under their original list price. In Texas as a whole, we're at about 93%, meaning that houses are selling for about 7% under their original list price. If I were to summarize this, I would say that both Bryan-College Station are headed in a very similar direction. However, Bryan-College Station appears to be more resilient. We have appreciation. We have a better original list price to sale price ratio, and we are holding a little bit more steady, where the rest of Texas appears to be getting softer faster. If you want more information about our local housing market, for one, subscribe to the channel. But for two, go down in the description below, click the link where I will send you the full PDF breakdown, all of the data for both our local housing market and for Texas as a whole. Of course, this will give you much more than what I'm covering in this video. So if you are going to invest, buy or sell in Bryan-College Station, this is what you need to know. As a seller, you need to know we are still in a very competitive market. You have to be very strategic about how you sell a house. You cannot simply throw a house up on the MLS and hope that it sells. Hope is not a strategy. You have to have the right pricing, the right pictures, the right marketing plan to get that house sold. As a buyer, you have a lot of options to choose from. You're still battling relatively high interest rates. As of the recording of this video, our interest rates are right around 6.3 to 6.35%. for a 30-year fixed. This is according to Mortgage News Daily, link in the description below. So yes, affordability is still not great, but because there's a lot of houses to choose from, and because we're more in a buyer's market than we were before, you as a buyer have the ability to negotiate on terms, such as having your closing costs covered, or maybe having that seller provide you a seller credit to help you buy down that interest rate, making the house more affordable. These are all good things for buyers. For my investors out there, here's a trend that I've noticed. As we've shifted towards this buyer's market, there's been a divergence between a house in good condition and a house that needs some love, a value add house, a house that will provide you a better ROI. So in this current market, if a house needs flooring, paint, and countertops, maybe the cabinets are a little bit beat up, you can get a pretty good deal on that house. And the cost to repair it allows you to have a little bit of meat left on the bone, meaning you're creating equity through that repair. So if you're an investor right now, I recommend that you look for value add properties, negotiate the price accordingly, and then build in that equity when you do that repair on the backside of the purchase. Whether you're looking to flip or keep it as a buy and hold, maybe a BRRRR, it's all great right now in Bryan-College Station for those strategies. Whew, we covered a lot, but there's so much more data which you might want to have access to, which is exactly why I'm going to share the full-on report. I'm talking about every nitty-gritty number that the MLS provides to me. I'm providing to you for both Bryan-College Station and Texas as a whole. All you have to do is hit the link in the description below, shoot me your email address, and I will send you those 2 reports. Of course, if you want more information about investing in Bryan-College Station, you can subscribe to our weekly newsletter where I will send you my deal of the week, or subscribe to this channel where I'll provide you a new video every week. If you want to do me a huge favor, you can hit the like button so that you can let other people know I'm putting out content like this. It keeps me motivated to make videos. And then lastly, if you do nothing else, until next week, you take it easy.